Have you ever looked at beautifully decorated cookies and wondered how do they make those gorgeous designs? It's easy to believe that kind of magic can only happen in fancy bakeries with expensive decorating supplies and equipment. But let me tell you a secret. The right tools for the job are probably already on your shelves or maybe in your craft area. Hello, everyone. Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to turn simple sugar cookies into professional looking masterpieces using the magic of cookie stencils. And I'll not only show you how to use a cookie stencil, I'll also guide you step by step through the entire process of making your own cookie stencils with a Cricut cutting machine, mixing your royal icing, and decorating your cookies just right. Whether you're new to baking, new to Cricut, or just want to try something fun and festive, you can create your own holiday magic to wow your friends and family, even if you've never decorated a cookie before. To start, head to my free resource library at jennifermaker.com/774. Click Get a Password if you need one, or enter the library. Then search for design number 774 and click on the project file to download everything you need to get started. In the SVG folder, you'll find 5 festive designs: a candy cane, a whimsical flower, a delicate snowflake, a sweet little tree, and a classic holiday wreath. They're all sized to work beautifully with a standard 6 by 6 inch stencil holder and cookies about 3 inches across. I've also included DXF versions in case you have a different cutting machine, as well as PDF templates so you can print and cut your stencils by hand. If you've never uploaded an SVG before, don't worry. I walk you through it at jennifermaker.com/SVGS. My complete tutorial shows you how to unzip your files and get them into Cricut Design Space. Before we get into preparing our yummy treats, let's talk timing so you can plan your cookie decorating around your busy holiday schedule. Royal icing works best for decorating cookies when you give it plenty of time to dry between icing and stenciling. You can add your first icing layer in the morning and stencil on your designs in the evening. Or, if you don't need to rush, let your base layer set overnight for amazing results. Whether you work over 1 day or 2, the waiting time between icing and decorating your cookies is perfect for breaking out the Cricut and cutting your stencils. So I'll teach you how to ice your cookies first, and then we'll move on to Design Space while our cookies are resting in case you need help preparing the files. Once they're ready, I'll show you how to use your stencils. If you use store-bought cookies for this project, make sure they're flat on top and that they're about 3 inches wide and 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch thick so they fit the cookie stencil. If you start with fresh baked cookies, use an adjustable rolling pin or measure carefully to get the height just right. Let your cookies cool completely before you add any icing. Otherwise, you'll melt your hard work. Before we get started on our icing, let's wash our hands. We'll use royal icing because it dries firm and makes a perfect base for our stenciled design. Mix 1 package of royal icing according to the instructions until it forms smooth, soft peaks when you lift the icing with a kitchen spatula. That means when you lift your spatula, the icing should hold its shape and be clump-free. If you need to add in a little extra water to get the right consistency, you can. Just add a little bit at a time. Scoop about 3/4 of the icing into another bowl. Cover it with a damp paper towel so it doesn't dry out, and set it aside for later. For now, we'll use the remaining portion to outline the cookies. Grab a zipper bag and place 1 corner into a tall cup. Fold the bag's top edge over the cup rim. This makes it super easy to fill without making a mess. Use a kitchen spatula to transfer the outlining icing into the bag. Remove the bag from the cup Then snip a small hole just under a 1/4 inch from a bottom corner. This gives you control as you outline each cookie. Place your first cookie on a flat, stable surface. Hold the tip close to the cookie's edge and gently squeeze the bag until the icing begins to flow. Maintain gentle pressure and let the icing fall into place as you outline the cookie. Try to keep the tip away from the cookie to prevent smearing or breaks in the icing. Set aside the cookie and let the icing dry for 1 or 2 minutes. Once this icing sets, it acts as a dam so the rest of the icing stays inside when you fill in the layer later. Outline the remaining cookies the same way. Now take that reserved bowl of icing and add a little room temperature water, just a few drops at a time, until it flows off the spatula in smooth ribbons. When stirred, it should level out in about 10 seconds. This consistency of icing is called flood icing, since it can easily fill in shapes. Cover the bowl with a damp paper towel and let it sit for 10 minutes so air bubbles rise to the surface. Then remove and discard the paper towel and use a toothpick to pop the bubbles. This will give you a smoother, more consistent layer of flood icing. Fill a fresh, clean zipper bag with the flood icing and snip the corner, just like before. This icing will be thinner than the outline icing and move more fluidly, so be careful. Gently squeeze the flood icing inside the outlined area of a cookie, working from the edge to the center in a spiral motion. Secure your bag with a chip clip to keep icing from running out when you're not using it. Then use a toothpick to spread the icing evenly over your cookie and smooth it out. Repeat with the rest of your cookies. Let them dry uncovered for at least 6 to 8 hours. I like to leave mine overnight just to be sure. Let's cut the stencils while they rest. I'll start with my wreath SVG loaded on a new Cricut Design Space canvas. My stencils are sized at 5.5 inches square to fit the stencil holder in my supplies list, but you can use the corner resize handles to adjust them to fit your holder if needed. I don't recommend making them much smaller since some details can be lost. If you want to add more stencils to cut at the same time, upload them now. I'll add the candy cane, the tree, and the snowflake to fill my mat. And if you'd like to make your cookies extra special with a personalized design, I've got something really special for you. In my Advance with Jennifer Maker workshop, I teach you how to create your own custom cookie stencils in Cricut Design Space. Plus, I show exactly how to turn them into unique designs for completely customized cookie stencils in my step-by-step tutorial. Head over to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more. Once your stencils are uploaded and resized if needed, make sure your cutting machine is selected and click Make. On the Prepare screen, choose your material size. I'm using a 12 by 12 Mylar sheet, so all 4 of my stencils fit on one sheet. If you have more than one mat, make sure Mat 1 is selected, then click Continue. Now it's time to set your base material. Click Browse All Materials, search for Mylar, and choose that setting. I also recommend increasing the pressure to more. It helps make sure those fine details cut cleanly. Next, place your Mylar sheet on a clean, sticky green standard grip mat. Use a new mat if you can. Use a brayer to really press it down. You don't want any air bubbles or loose spots, especially with intricate cuts like these. Make sure your blade is clean and in the clamp, then press the flashing load button to load the prepared mat into your Cricut. Press the flashing middle button to begin cutting. Cricut will take its time cutting the delicate shapes. Let it work its magic. Before you unload the mat, check a corner of the Mylar and make sure the cuts went all the way through. If not, press the middle button again to cut the same lines a second time. Once your cuts are successfully completed, unload the mat, flip it over and gently peel back the mat to release your stencils. Use a craft spatula to help with any delicate areas and a weeding tool to poke out tiny pieces. And use a craft scraper to clean up any tiny bits left on your mat. If you have any issues with your cuts, head over to my Tips for Cleaner Cuts tutorial. Then admire your finished stencils. Give them a quick rinse with warm water, pat them dry, and they're ready for action. Now for the best part, stenciling your cookies. Start a new batch of icing or thicken your leftover outlining icing with more powder until it forms stiff peaks. It should feel like toothpaste, firm but spreadable. If you want to add color, now's the time. Just add a drop or two of food coloring and stir well with a kitchen spatula. Don't add too much liquid, or you'll need to add extra powder to fix the icing's consistency. Next, set up your stencil holder on a clean, flat surface with the magnets positioned at the left, top, and right sides. Lift the top off the stencil holder. Then center your stencil face up so the design is in the correct direction and all three sides touch the magnets. Replace the stencil holder's lid. Lay your first iced cookie on a clean, flat, and stable surface, like a cookie sheet. Then gently lower the stencil holder onto the cookie so the design is centered on the icing. The stencil should rest just above or gently touch the surface for best results. Use your kitchen spatula to add a small amount of icing across the top edge of the stencil. Place your icing scraper just above the icing, then press down lightly and spread the icing towards you and across the stencil to fill the cutout shapes. Make multiple passes with the icing scraper if you need to, but avoid moving back and forth as this can lift your stencil and ruin your design. When you can see the outline of the stencil through the icing, gently lift the stencil holder straight up, and there's your design. Look how crisp, clean, and satisfying it is. Now you can use your stencils to decorate the rest of your cookies, changing colors and designs to create a full tray of festive treats. Make sure to clean your stencils between uses, especially if you get icing on the underside of your stencil. You don't want it to transfer to the next cookie. Just use warm, running water to rinse off the stencil, and avoid scrubbing so you don't damage the surface of the mylar. Then pat dry with paper towels. When you're finished stenciling on the designs, allow your decorated cookies to dry for 1 to 2 hours. And there you have it, your very own bakery-style holiday cookies, handmade with love and a little Cricut magic. Store your cookies in an airtight container for up to 2 weeks, though they might not last that long. I hope you had so much fun decorating cookies with me. And don't worry if some of your cookies didn't turn out perfect. They taste delicious either way. Now, I think using Cricut Design Space is a lot like baking cookies. Once you know the recipe, it's fun and rewarding. But without it, things can get a little messy. That's why I put together my Cricut Coach Playbook. I've gathered my best tips and tricks for all the things we do in Cricut Design Space. No more mess, just confident, stress-free designing so you can spend more time creating projects you love. To get more information in the book, just head on over to CricutCoach.com to get your own copy. Now, if you don't have a Cricut cutting machine but definitely want one to make these gorgeous stencils, I do a regular giveaway over on my blog at jennifermaker.com/Cricut-giveaway. Get all the details and enter for your chance to win. And don't forget to join our Facebook group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters and show us a photo of all of your amazing cookies. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.
Is
Does it actually taste okay?
Or just yeah.